This week's best MMA bets, we're talking UFC San Antonio, Vera versus Sandhagen. I'm going to give you guys my most confident picks, my favorite underdogs, the lock of the week. We'll talk about the value bets / props on the card, and then we'll finish it out with the parlays. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. Let's start it off first with the most confident picks. We'll first start with Holm, minus 220. I know she's 41. I understand this is not the youngest Holm we've ever seen. Obviously, it's a dumb thing to fucking say. But you look at the actual matchup here, Yana Kunitskaya is nowhere near the level of a Holm. Even at 40, Holm looks tremendous. Her body's in great shape. She's ripped. I think she can still go out there and beat a Yana Kunitskaya. Rather, Yana Santos now after getting married to Thiago Santos. You look at Vera, last fight for Holm. She lost, I think, a somewhat controversial decision. Either way, no matter what side you're on in that argument, it was a close fight. Vera is a pretty top-of-the-line contender. She just lost to Pennington in a fight that I think should have went Vieira's way. Yana, on the other side, yeah, she actually has a win over Vera, but I thought that was a bullshit decision. Kunitskaya got knocked out bad versus Irene Aldana. You saw the striking level of Holm with Irene Aldana. She's very hard to touch. She's harder to really dominate or do anything to take down. What is Kunitskaya going to do here? I think that Holm is going to pick her apart. I think Holm can work her against the cage. I feel like unanimous decision. Holm makes a lot of sense. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 275. Decision at minus 105. Holm for the win. She's the minus 220 favorite. She's a confident pick. Next one, CJ Vergara over Daniel Da Silva. Listen, Daniel Da Silva has been a guy that I had faith in at points, but he hasn't shown me anything changes. His whole game is I go crazy on you early. He's a berserk style, and then I gas out and I get finished. Against Vergara, he's gone long with Ode Osborne. He won that third round against Ode and looked pretty good in that fight. He lost to Tyra in the last one. Can you really knock him for it? Competitive win over Clayton Rodriguez. And now he's fighting Daniel Da Silva, who's dropped 3 straight in the UFC, hasn't found the win here yet, and doesn't seem to be able to pace himself. Nothing's telling me it's changed. Yeah, I know he's only in his 20s, so improvements can happen. But it's over and over and over the same type of mistakes. He puts himself into the fire and he gets dropped. He gets stopped. He already got knee barred by Figueiredo. I think TKO for Vergara. Under 2.5 rounds, minus 115. Smart play. TKO minus 135. And obviously the money line sitting at minus 240. I like it. I like Vergara's chances a ton here. I think he's TKO and Da Silva. The way Da Silva wins is he's going to have to quickly blitz Vergara and get him out of there. I don't think there's durability issues with Vergara. I think he's ready for this fight, and I think he wins it. We're going with Vergara to get it done over Da Silva. Next one, Nate the Train Landwehr, minus 205. He's fighting Austin Lingo, who I like a lot, but not in this fight. Landwehr is gritty as fuck, very experienced, and Lingo, he doesn't have the secret move to beat a Nate Landwehr. You know what that is? The knee in the clinch, that flying knee or just a straight knee up the center of the head. That's how you beat a Nate Landwehr. That's how he's lost in the UFC. I feel like Nate Landwehr and him are going to have a dogfight. Super scrappy battle that goes over a round and a half. That's minus 160. Sneaky prop right there. Minus 205, Landwehr money line. I like Landwehr's chances. I think he's got this fight. I'm riding with Landwehr. He's a most confident pick. And I really like Lingo on the other side, but I'm being realistic about the matchup here. This is not a Hamosh. There's no breaking Nate Landwehr, and there's no breaking Lingo either. But skill set wise, experience wise, to me it all goes Landwehr for the win. And let's look at Maycee Barber as the next one. I think she's going to win against Andrea Lee. She's minus 250. I know it's not a beautiful tag, but it's realistic. It's very realistic here. Decision is plus 105. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Over 2.5 rounds, I think, is a damn near sure thing with these girls. Andrea Lee is criminally underrated by me, but I still think Maycee Barber is going to win the fight. I think there's going to be moments where it's competitive. Andrea Lee's got good skills overall. I like her stand-up the most, but she's tough. Even against Aruja, I mean, she hurt her in the first 30 seconds of that fight. I'm picking Maycee Barber to win and still a most confident pick. She's going to outwork Andrea Lee. Minus 250 money line. But that over 2.5, You're going to hear it again. You'll hear it again soon as we get to the parlays. Let's jump to the next section and let's talk about some of my favorite underdogs on the card. Okay, favorite underdog, Trey Ogden is one, Marlon Chito Vera the other. Very different matchups, very different levels of fighters. First, let's talk the Trey Ogden side. Why am I picking him over a menace like Manuel Torres, who's blitzing opponents? First round knockouts in like his last 4 or 5. You know why I'm picking him? Because he doesn't get outside of the first round. Trey Ogden's an experienced veteran of the game. I feel like he can go out here and win. Especially dealing with a guy in Torres where you know he's going to bring the heat in the first round. I think Ogden's going to have a game plan for this. He's going to try to slow Torres down. He's going to have to weather some big moments and weather a storm here. I think he does. I think Trey Ogden wins the fight. He's plus 145 moneyline dog. I also think they're sleeping on Trey Ogden completely because it's over 1.5 too. They're saying the fight is minus 120, over 1.5. So that's real close money. I think it is going over 1.5. I think Trey Ogden by sub is live in the second and third round. I'm going Trey Ogden submission. That line right there sits at plus 500, and this is Ogden's game. He's got nasty submissions. He's quality on the floor. He can strike too, though. I think he's being slept on in this matchup. He doesn't have the name value, the big oomph that Torres has with his devastating power and the way he's finishing opponents. But he finished Frank Camacho. Come on, man. Justin James also knocked out Frank Camacho. Trey Ogden, underdog, sneaky underdog. The next one, it's Marlon Vera. This one I will acknowledge is a fucking dogfight. Such a competitive matchup between two of the best bantamweights in the world. Could be the two best bantamweights in the world, depending on what night they're fighting different opponents. Now we're going to find out who's very close to a title fight. I think Chito Vera is going to win. He's plus 155. Knockout prop, plus 420. I'm telling you, that's a lucky tag, people, that plus 420 line. That's why I like it. Knockout plus 420, I think it's worth a light touch because I could see Vera being the first guy to knock a Sandhagen out. I can see Sandhagen being successful with the stand-up, and then Vera ends him, flatline KO, maybe a high kick. As good as Sandhagen is, I also will say this. Vera on the floor interests me in this fight, potentially controlling on the mat. That's why I like the money line more so than the knockout. The, prop was exciting, sitting at plus 420. Let's see what sub prop is, because I think it's even crazier. It's not super likely, but I do want to read it off. Plus 720 for that submission prop. Just something to mention there. I don't think that it's going to be a sub. Probably not, but it is a wide-ass line. Money line Chito Vera, I think he's beaten Sandhagen, but I will acknowledge this is a really competitive fight, and I know a lot of people that watch the channel are on both sides here, so probably a fun debate in the comments between this matchup. Yeah, Vera, I'm calling him a favorite underdog, which is going to lead us into the lock of the week.
JJ Bang Bang Njokuani!
Chidi Njokuani over Albert Duraev. Yeah, I'm riding with Chidi Bang Bang. Honestly, one of my favorite middleweight prospects / veterans really of the game. And he matches up with, I feel like, Duraev pretty well. Competent grappling skill sets with Njokuani. Rangy kickboxing, Muay Thai background, nasty in the clinch, does a lot of damage. I like Chidi to win this fight. He's minus 150 money line. I'm not overly impressed by Duraev. I don't see him bullying a Chidi Njokuani anywhere in this fight. I see Njokuani outstriking him for certain. Minus 150 Njokuani. I love it. Over 1.5 rounds, minus 115. I think there's a chance Chidi gets a TKO, but I don't think you want to throw everything after a Chidi knockout. I think the over 1.5 and a Chidi money line both are very playable because I feel like at minus 115, it's a good tag. I'm also looking at Chidi by KO. I do want to read it off, plus 125. I don't love the Chidi KO line. Plus 125, it's not calling my name enough for big plus money because I'd want to really hit that prop with a bit of steam. I'd rather money line. I'd rather over 1.5. It's Njokuani for the win, the lock of the week. I see him beating a game Duraev, but I do feel like he came into the UFC with too much hype. His stand-up is decent enough. His wrestling, I don't think is that great. I think it's good, but not that great. It's a little overrated. Buckley was able to handle him. I see Chidi Njokuani to the Buckley level or more. I actually want to see Chidi Njokuani versus Buckley. I'm hoping that we can get that fight made at some point. We shall see. He needs a win this week. I'm picking Chidi and Jaquani, lock of the week. Let's get it. Let's go after it. Minus 150 money line. That would be the lock money line play. And let's jump to the value bet section. All right, let's talk value bets / prop section, I should really call it. Let's bring it up on the screen here. All right. Let's look at this, okay? We're going to go Daniel Pineda as a value bet, plus 245. I mentioned I want to see these two on the scales because Pineda, I do think, is a live dog. Tucker Lutz should not be a near minus 300 favorite over Pineda, a good veteran who's dangerous as fuck. Tucker Lutz is not a bad fighter. I mean, I kind of think he's got a real chance to win, but I'm very torn. This is a matchup that I've been sitting on and thinking I might flip. So depending on weigh-ins, that would really determine everything here of how's the pick going. But Pineda as an underdog at plus 245, it's nice dog money. And he's live as an underdog. He'd be a value dog bet regardless of the pick side. I think Pineda's dangerous. Now, as far as Pineda to win, I think inside distance plus 150, or excuse me, inside distance plus 350 possible. See, plus 150. I'm like, wait a second. The money line's more than that. Plus 350 inside distance. Pineda by knockout plus 800 at the best. Pineda by sub plus 800 at the best too. Holy shit. Yeah, I think Pineda's got a real chance, man. Daniel Pineda's an OG of the game. I just have some concerns about him at 37. We're going to see at the weigh-ins. The pick might fully flip that way. Right now, value bet on the dog is still there. So it is a value bet. Yes, it's an underdog, but I didn't put in like the favorite dog section. I feel like it's more of a value bet / prop type play. Let's talk about one more. This is going to be an over. Okay, Giles and Parsons, I think, is going long. And the over for 2.5 is plus 150. This really surprised me when I saw it. I said, wow, plus 150 for over 2.5. I could see these guys going distance. Not a terrible idea. Not my favorite bet ever, but it's plus 150. And for an over 2.5 in a fight that I thought probably goes long, that didn't make sense to me. So I don't think it's a terrible idea to potentially play an over. Maybe even as a parlay piece for value too. But yeah, I like plus 150 there. I do want to jump to the parlays. Let's talk about some parlays to play. Let's see what we can concoct here. All right, let me zoom this in so you guys can see it all. So right now, I have an over 2.5 in the Andrea Lee Macy Barber fight and Holly Holm at minus 220. That brings you to about plus 100. Now, this right here is two safe plays, not shooting at any heavy value, right? I'm not really looking to attack value with this first one. I'm not pushing it too hard right away. But if we do want to attack some value, you could add a Chidi Bang Bang in plus 241. That's a potential play. But if you're like, yo, I don't want Chidi in there, I want real plus money value. All right. You know what? I'm going to come up with something wild right here. I see it in my mind. All right. We're going to keep what we have now. I'm doing an over 2.5 in this fight. Brings me to plus 400. All right. Let's keep running though. We got more. Let's really fucking spice this bad boy up. All right. I think, am I crazy for thinking then we go here, Chidi, plus 750? I think that could be a good value play. Just these three alone, 2 overs and Holly Holm, plus 400, and one's big plus money. CJ Vergara could win plus 620, but actually I like the under too. Where's this under? Under 1.5. They don't have under 2.5 here? Damn, if they did have under 2.5, that'd be better. Under 1.5 is riskier because I could see that fight going longer. Plus 400, though, for those two. The unders. With parlays this week, I've said it already. Like, I think, be intelligent. Be cautious. Like, let's not go fucking absolutely ballistic attacking crazy-ass parlays because there are some real fucking competitive dog fights on this card. Nate Landwehr, good shit. And let's go Chito Barito in the main. So we got Holly Holm, over 2.5 in the Lee Barber fight. Enja Kawani, Landwehr, Cheeto, plus 1,200 for that play. You don't like Cheeto in that main thing? You don't like running it with him? Am I crazy for thinking Steven Peterson is also a good addition? Plus 755. I think he's got a real shot to win. I want to create some magic right now. I'm seeing this magic, and I'm making it happen as we speak. Let's go Trey Ogden on the slate. Jesus, I'm going fucking bananas here, but I need to. I want to go for a Hail Mary. Holly Holm, over 2.5 in the Barber Lee fight. Chidi, Landwehr, Peterson, Ogden, Vera, plus plus 5,594. This is a wide-ass play, but it could come through. I want to clean the slate a little bit. Obviously, I know you guys can kind of mix and match and concoct your own. But I want to still throw some heat. I want to see what else we can do. All right. What am I feeling, man? What am I feeling? I like the ones that I've listed. I felt great about the first one, of course. All right, let's put Nate the Train in there. I just have a feeling that he's good to go. Nate the Train minus 205. Let's say we leave out Holly. Let's say we want variety in this one. Over 1.5 in this fight here. Plus 170. This is getting sneaky. This is pretty good. Over 1.5 there. Steven Peterson should win. That's another guy you can have. Plus 360 for that one. The 360 play, Landwehr, the over 1.5 in the Ogden Torres fight, and then Steven Peterson plus 360. I think this is a solid play as well. Let's add in some heat, though. Let's add some steam to it. Let's add the over 2.5 from Macy Barber because I'm feeling pretty great about that one. All right, over 2.5, so it's plus 545 or almost plus 545. If we went main event crazy, we got Cheeto. It's plus 1,500. But if you're like, yo, leave Cheeto out, Cheaty bang bang. Plus 978, almost plus 1,000 right there. That's money. I think Benel Kape also has a fair chance. I'll just keep shooting for the stars with this one. This is balls, though. This is real balls. Balls of steel. Your better plays are obviously 2 or 3 fighter parlays. But, like, you know, I want to give you guys some absolute heat that you could potentially hang with. Giles and Parsons, fuck it. I'm adding the over. At this point, we're just going nuts. Plus 4,172. Trying to snipe out some shit. Yeah, those are the parlays this week. But, yo, guys, be cautious. I am very excited for the weigh-ins because I think the weigh-ins are going to give us a lot. We're going to, you know, really get a feel for all the matchups, especially the Pineda play, because I do think he could be a very live dog. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of this week's Best MMA Bets. Make sure you smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. Almost forgot. Christian Leroy Duncan, last week's lock of the week, came through. Was super happy about him getting it done. Granted, he didn't get to showcase all of his skills because Dushko got injured early in the fight, but I do think he was on his way to winning, and he's a prospect that I'm very high on, and I look forward to seeing what's next for him. But I'm super hyped. We cashed that lock, and let's keep running it. We got this lock streak coming. Drop your lock of the week in the comments. And if you have nothing to say, as always, drop a W in the chat as well. Much love to the people. You can see I got the clean cut on. I'm feeling absolutely fresh again after, my crazy afro look was getting a bit out of hand. So we got it cleaned up now, people. Thank you for tuning in. Plenty of content dropping all week. You don't want to miss it. So make sure those post notifications are turned on. Thank you all so much. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace, guys.